Joseph Campbell, who brought the idea of the universal mythic journey to popular consciousness, famously counselled us to follow our bliss, even in the darkest night, to hold the light, even if only in the image of a distant star glittering in the heavens, far, far away. Even if such a star cannot be seen with the naked eye, even if it exists only in memory, hold it nevertheless, dear and close to your heart, for it will guide you always, always home. There are many stories from our everyday world where people, hostages, kept in darkness and isolation, not knowing if they might die from one hour to the next. Dear souls in concentration camps, like Viktor Frankl, who refused to relinquish his faith and so survived. They are heroes and heroines, every one. We all experience such times now and then, of finding ourselves suddenly out of our depth, times of vulnerability, of feeling abandoned, lost, betrayed even. Hope has dimmed, faith has been thrown into question, and we have sunk down into a lightless depth within ourselves. Myths, legends and fairy stories tell of such experience, symbolised sometimes as a wasteland where no one can live and nothing can grow. The grief of Isis knew no bounds when she discovered her beloved Osiris had been murdered, and her tears filled the river Nile. It was the same for our own Blessed Virgin, for her crucified son, the same for the Sumerian goddess Inanna, who lost every last vestige of her former self as she descended into the underworld. Demeter, with her fiery torches of rage, caused such a winter to come upon the land when Hades stole away her beautiful daughter Persephone, and she refused to let time turn until she was returned to her. In the Grail quest, the wounded king languishes in his wasteland with his terrible, unhealing wounds endlessly bleeding, and he can neither die nor be released from his torment. In fairy tales, this is the part of the story where the heroine realizes she is all alone, abandoned and prey to the heartlessness of a wicked stepmother or jealous sisters who cast her out from the family home or plot her destruction. Sweet Cinderella, with her kind heart, had such awful siblings, as does her predecessor in the Greek myth of Psyche and Eros. The Russian Vasilisa, beautiful by name and beautiful by nature, has an evil stepmother too. Snow White is such a child, with her lips as red as blood, skin as white as snow, and hair as black as ebony. And the ill-fated brothers in the tragic tale of the 6 swans, who are cruelly turned into swans and condemned to roam the skies for eternity by their father's evil new queen. The real mothers of all these innocent souls having sadly died, and the fathers being weak, leaving them so terribly vulnerable and unprotected. So they are all relegated to the cellar or the attic, or driven off into the wide world, the underworld, or the deep dark wood, where their adventures begin, and where they must keep all their wits about them just to survive. There are so many of these potential heroines and heroes, like Tolkien's Bilbo and Frodo from more recent times, and C.S. Lewis's evacuees, Peter, Susan, Edmund and Lucy, slipping through the back of the wardrobe in their big fur coats, straight into the snowy realms of Narnia, where a heartless queen rules, and where it is always winter, but where Christmas never, ever comes. The truth is, we are not meant to be destroyed by any of this, by any of these harsh experiences. No. In story, these are the places of tasks, of trials and temptations that ultimately lead the soul to a greater understanding. It is where we might meet our enemies for sure, but also where mentors or magical helpers might suddenly appear. Vasilisa has a magical doll bequeathed to her by her dying mother, who later helps her battle and outwit the witch Baba Yaga, who sets her impossible tasks in exchange for the light she has been sent to obtain. And like Psyche before her, she must sort through endless heaps of tiny poppy seeds. But the child is helped by her little doll, as Psyche is assisted by a friendly colony of ants. Cinderella has her fairy godmother. There is Gandalf too, of course, and Dumbledore for Harry Potter, and Virgil, the Roman poet, who guides Dante through the fiery depths of the Inferno, through purgatory, and on to the gates of paradise, where finally he meets Beatrice, his beloved, and understands the meaning of all he has seen. When no one else would help, Demeter is helped by Hecate, who heard Persephone's screams as she was dragged away into the underworld. Isis is helped by her sister Nephthys as she searches for the dismembered parts of Osiris, and Inanna is assisted by magical servants who delve down into the depths to reclaim her when she is lost. And who can ever forget the wondrously uplifting moments in Tolkien's tales? Moments when the heroes have given everything they could possibly give, where they are spent, battle-weary and gravely wounded, when it seems as if the battle is over, that the tale is at an end and all hope is lost. It is then, quite miraculously, that Tolkien's eagles suddenly appear. It happens in Lord of the Rings, when Frodo and Sam are rescued from Mordor, and, after the final battle in The Hobbit, When the wounded Bilbo cries out, "The eagles are coming! The eagles are coming!" And they are lifted up then from the fray and carried away to Rivendell, to the safety and healing of its gentle halls. The eagles are symbols of grace, as are all these magical helpers. Divine intervention, if you like, that can't ever be predicted, that can't ever be relied upon. Yet sometimes, in the hour of our greatest need, it is there for us.